start doing some painting. I'm getting sick of the shit I'm doing right now, so I'm bouncing around again. Um, I'm gonna take in, this grill's already been painted black, obviously you can see some of it's chipping off. I'm gonna kind of do a quick scuff on it, clean it, respray it, and because I'm cheap and I don't want to spend 150 plus on chrome rings, I'm probably gonna take and fill the holes, just put a little bit of light bond in there, scuff them fucking down, and enough where if I had to, I could knock it back out if I did find the trim rings for a decent price. But then I'm gonna paint around, give it the illusion of having the chrome rings without spending the money. I've done it before with a couple other grills, and it flies definitely at a distance, and it cost me about 50 cents in paint. So I said do a quick cleanup, paint it, and then go for it. I'll do a quick video on this, show you how to do it for someone that wants to not spend the money like I'm going to do. So, okay, so here it is after being sprayed. I did minimal sanding. Honestly, I don't care. It'll match the imperfections of the truck. So, I'm gonna take and I will sand some of this shit out before I paint it silver, but that's not that big of a deal. I'm hoping to start on this tonight. I gotta take off for work in a few minutes. Pulled the front air down. Got the holes drilled for that. Got the rest of the black cleaned off. So, slowly getting there. But like I said, it's better than it was. Surprised there isn't a tooth or anything broke on this thing. It's actually in fairly decent shape. But I'll add videos to this when I do this so you can see. I have a paint that's almost an exact match of this in a brush paint. So if I do go over the line a little bit, I can come back in and touch it up and you'll never even know it was there. Okay, so this is like a day later. I didn't have any chance to touch this. I ended up working a 14-hour day and didn't get off until 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to start messing with this tonight. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do like a sped up version of this. I really don't have anything to hold my phone while I'm doing this. So I may just kind of show like clips at a time as I'm going through and doing everything. I have some 600 I'm going to use and just kind of smooth some of the imperfections out. Decided not to fill the holes on the off chance I can find them for cheap. Being optimistic, but you never know. Like I said, I can always go back and fill them. It's not that big of a deal. Just want to get this done so I can get the truck together and enjoy it for a little bit. So I'll probably just start coming back in snippets instead of sped up view like I was doing when I was removing the black paint from the truck. Okay, so I just did a quick scuff down on this one, just to kind of show you. I mean, there was a few previous runs that were in here, and there was some chunks of plastic coming off where the hole was. It's good enough. So when it comes to doing this, I use Testors aluminum. I got it at Hobby Lobby for $2. This is more than enough to do this grill probably 20 times over. And when you're doing this, unfortunately, I don't know where my really kick-ass paintbrushes are. So I found a couple that'll fly. When you're doing this, you want to take and the least amount of strokes is going to be way better than sitting there with a tiny little brush and coming in here and trying to just do this. And a lot of people that don't know, model paint is very temperamental. Some of you might know, some of you might not. You don't want to overlap while it's wet, because if you start to overlap after you've laid it, it starts to gum up and get massive streaks and everything in it. So if you can take and find, I don't know, I'm going to test both these brushes. I'm assuming this will be probably better, but I won't know until I try it. Like I said, whatever works best for you, I would highly recommend going with. Just because this works for me doesn't mean it would work for someone else. But if you're inexperienced it may take you a couple times. You may want to take and try it on something else. I mean, it's just paint. It can always be sanded down and repainted again, so it's not that big of a deal. But just helpful word of advice. I said, do not overlap the paint. Basically, as soon as you have a starting point and a finishing point, mine will probably be on the edge of one of these. So I can come back and pull it right to that point, and then I can just tap it in the corners, and you'll never know that I stopped and started from this. And, alright, so I'm going to start blasting on this, and I'll be back. Alright, so this is about 3 minutes later. I just did a quick run on it. The brush that surprisingly worked better for me was the smaller one. The bigger one bled out too far. This one I'm able to load up and then start pulling right down the center. The paint kind of spreads back out, and then I can really push this where I need it to be. I don't know if I can do this. This thing's so awkward. When you're loading the brush too, don't just dump this thing in there. Take and kind of load it up. Pull off the excess. Just almost like you're using a pinstripe brush. You want it to be loaded, but not dripping. Okay, this may cost me some repainting time trying to do it this way, but as you can see, I mean, there is some touch-ups. I will be coming back in here, straightening this line up. I'm just trying to get a base coat on it now. And it's paint. You can fake it. You can make it work. It doesn't, I mean, no one's going to be this close staring at your grill. It'll be a good 2-footer. But as you can see, the smaller brush fans itself out more than enough, and it's still controllable. Once you start seeing those bristles kind of start falling off, that's where you want to stop. Like I said, just a base coat, just to start. The farther you get away, the better it looks. But it'll take more than one coat. Normally 2 to 3 to 4 sometimes, depending on the coverage. This seems to be covering okay. So my next video will start after I'm done with this and I've came back and cleared everything up and made it look good. So this just kind of gives you a general idea what you have to do. I said it's so hard to hold this thing where you guys can see it and I can properly do this. So because of this right here, this is going to cost me some time to come back in and fix. But I'll be back. Another quick coat, or did a quick coat on this spring. I gotta let it dry before I come in and kind of start touching stuff up. And what I'll end up doing probably is just doing another 2 or 3 rounds on these things when they're dry, and then I'll come back in and clean up. There's no reason to clean up if I'm gonna end up going over anyways. But I mean, next to nothing in paint. It's probably going to be even cheaper than 50 cents. I'm kind of debating doing the same thing around the edge. Maybe not. Maybe for right now I'm just going to roll with this. But I'll be doing the embloom next. And I think I can do a full-on how-to while I'm doing it. You know, this is a little more awkward. This is 4.5 feet long, trying to spin it around and hold it, and just doesn't work well. So I'll do one quick coat on these things. Like I said, they're not going to be perfect. There'll be lines you'll have to clean up, but I mean, it'll fly. Like I said, there's still going to be 2 or 3 more coats of silver. I'm going to come back in and I'll clean up my lines if I have to with the black. Sometimes you can manipulate and kind of push your line around. Even if it is over the line a little bit, you can work it so that it actually still flies. Just gonna have to see. But, I mean, not bad. I'm a little rusty, and I don't have my paintbrushes. I have probably $70 in really high quality paintbrushes that are camel and horsehair, and the ones I'm using are shit. They're a step above watercolor brushes, something you need to get for your kids. But I can make it work. I'm going to continue to look for my brushes, but the chances of finding them right now are slim and none. So yeah, there it is. It'll fly when it's done. All right, so a few days later, haven't really had the time with work and everything. Yellow lights came in today. The grill's sitting kind of cockeyed because the bumper's still fucked up. But I decided to do the chrome around the outside. I think it was a good idea. Obviously, I'll still have to do it on the trim on the bottom of the hood, but pretty crispy lines. I'll show you. This is the way to go. Well, I was looking for my missing brushes. I found that. I originally bought it for my models, my Hot Wheels. I was like, you know what, I'm going to give it a go and see what happens. And such a huge time saver. When you put it on, you can paint right over it. It doesn't bleed through. It leaves a crisp line. Like it serious time saver. If you're going to do these wannabe chrome trim rings, spend the money, get that. Well worth the money. So, like I said, I mean, pretty crisp lines. The only imperfections that are in this are from whatever was going on with the grill before. But it flies. It's nicer than the truck. So, front valence been painted, bolted on fully. See, there's no more gap. So, next thing will be finish that one trim ring, and then scuff, shoot that black, do the chrome across, pull the bumper, good to go. So I'm hoping for this weekend. I'm just going to post this as a video doing the grill, and you guys kind of get a general idea what's going on. But I think it looks good. I'm happy with the outcome.